with his mother, Idrissa, and brother, Michael Ford. A 4-year contributor from Gladstone, New Jersey, special teamer number 0, Timmy Lallis with his parents, John and Maureen, brother Teddy, and family. A 4-year contributor from Fairfield, Pennsylvania, offensive lineman number 76, John Macharski with his parents, Joe and Kelly, and fiance, Kenzie Niederer. A 2019 All-MAC honoree and team captain from Philadelphia, defensive back number 20, Dante Mason, with his mother, Bernice Taylor, father, Darius, sisters, Amber and Deja, and daughter, Malia Mason. A 3-year contributor from the Bronx in New York, linebacker number 23, Aaron Mayers, with his mother, Denise, sister, Imani, and nieces, Sydney and Sonia. A 2-year contributor from Jackson, New Jersey, Hunter, number 13, Bobby Miller, with his parents, Nicole and Bobby. A 4-year contributor from Hempstead, Maryland, wide receiver number 10, Aaron Nelson, with his mother Tiffany and her boyfriend Joe, grandmother Marie, and brother Antonio. A 4-year contributor from Newtown, Pennsylvania, long snapper number 69, Shane Oros, with his parents, Serge and Brenda, and brothers, Craig and Kyle. A 4-year contributor from Ferguson, Pennsylvania, offensive lineman number 66, Austin Regan, with his mothers, Megan and Patty. A 2018 All-MAC honoree, 4-year contributor and team captain from Warminster, offensive lineman number 73, Corey Schreiber, with his parents, Gary and Sharon, sister Megan, nephew James, and niece Maya. A 2019 All-MAC honoree from Bristol, running back number 24, Dante Simmons, with his parents, Doris and Rodney. A pair of 4-year contributors from Elmont, New York, the Speed Brothers, linebacker number 39, Devon, and defensive lineman number 44, Javon, with their mother Alicia, stepfather Elliot, and great-uncle Pat. A 2018 All-MAC honoree and 4-year contributor from Philadelphia, running back number 1, Kadir Struthers, with his mother, Kanika Williams, father Anthony Struthers, sister Nekwa Shaw, and brother Leron. A 2-time All-MAC honoree, team captain, and 4-year contributor from Ocean, New Jersey, linebacker number 43, Anthony Tedesco, with his parents, Matt and Carmela, and family. sisters. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your 2021 Delaware Valley University football seniors.
On an overcast November Saturday afternoon, we welcome you in to week number 10 of the regular season finale, and the latest installment of the Keystone Cup rivalry as Delaware Valley takes on their rival, the Widener University Pioneers. Or Pride, excuse me, a little throwback there to their former mascot. Good afternoon, everyone. Gordon Mann and Shad and Tony here bringing you the action as we get you ready for the regular season finale. A little of the drama erased from this game last week, but not a whole lot. Delaware Valley last week went on the road to Wilkes University, defeated the Colonels 30-0, and by virtue of help from the team they're playing today, Widener, clinched the Middle Atlantic Conference Championship and the automatic bid to the NCAA playoffs. It's the Aggies' 13th conference title and their fourth consecutive trip to the NCAA tournament. That said, still a lot on the line today. Delaware Valley looking to do a couple of things. One, complete a perfect season, 10-0. Two, send out the 28 seniors, many of which have been with this program for 4 years, out on what would be an incredible 32-0 perfect win streak against their conference rivals. Stay ranked stay at the top of the regional rankings in the NCAA, and we'll explain what that means a little later on. And perhaps most importantly, keep themselves in position for either a home game when the NCAA playoffs start next week, or failing that, a very good matchup somewhere on the road. 10-0 teams tend to get very favorable draws. If you're undefeated headed into the playoffs, you usually are rewarded with the seeding and the matchups to reflect that, not just for the first week, but for the second week as well. 9-1 teams, well, pretty much everybody in the tournament has a record like that or better, so you could really end up anywhere. There's not even a guarantee that you would be a home team with a 9-1 record. So Delaware Valley needs to avoid the ghosts of 2010 when Delaware Valley was in a very similar situation. 9-0 heading into the NCAA playoffs and went up big on Widener, only to see the Pride come back and win on a 2-point conversion in the closing moments of that game. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think Mike Baranek, who's the head coach at Widener, might have been on the Delaware Valley team as a tight end going back to then. Delaware Valley that year ended up with a home game. They played Salisbury, a very tough first-round matchup. But then they got sent on the road to Mount Union, and they took on Cecil Shorts, who went on to have a pretty good career in the NFL, and that game didn't go so well for the Aggies. So if you want to avoid Mount Union, if you want to avoid a tough first-round matchup, if you want to stay home for the first week or two of the playoffs and give yourselves any chance to do that, you got to win here today. Widener in kind of an unusual situation. They can extend their season with a win today, and they are ranked in the NCAA regional rankings. But more importantly than that, a win today for Widener would secure one of the top 4 spots in the conference and would allow them to play one of the 3 MAC Centennial Bowl games. Those are games played by the top 3 teams in the Middle Atlantic Conference and the Centennial Conference who do not make the NCAA playoffs. With a win, Widener would secure a top 3 record. With a loss, their season could potentially be done. Widener coming off a very impressive performance. They have a couple of really nice wins this year. They started the season with 4 wins in a row, and then a kind of a head-scratcher when Widener got thumped by FDU Florham 27-3. But prior to that, they beat their rivals just across the Delaware River, Rowan, beat Hampden-Sydney College out of Virginia, trounced Lebanon Valley and Albright, and then stubbed their toe against FDU Florham. Wins over Alvernia and Wilkes kept the Pride in the conference title hunt until Stevenson, which was picked second in the conference, knocked them off 29-24 and put them in the spoiler seat. And they took care of that last week by defeating another team that they have a very long-running rivalry with, Lycoming, 17-0 on their senior day in Chester last week. As you can tell, the weather, not exactly picturesque. It is overcast and has just started to rain here. You can see the trees here in Doylestown have turned to golden and red and brown. The fans scattering for cover and umbrellas popping up in front of us. A very big crowd in the parking lot today. Lots of tailgating from both the Widener and the Delaware Valley side. These two schools on the opposite sides of Philadelphia, and a lot of crossover, I'm sure, in terms of guys who've played with each other in high school and know each other on opposing teams now. That's also the case of the coaching staff. We mentioned Mike Baranek, who was a tight end and a player here at Delaware Valley. Remember covering Mike as a player, now the head coach at Widener. On the other sideline, Delaware Valley has Greg Fiedick and Bill Manlove, who are both former Widener coaches and players. Bill Manlove won a couple of national championships at Widener. Greg Fiedick was an offensive line there. And there's been a lot of crossover between these two programs over the years, and it's still the case today as the Aggies bring their 4 captains out, and so do the Pride. Left to right across the captains for you, Jeremy Adams for Delaware Valley, joined by Corey Shriver, 2 offensive linemen, Dante Mason, and number 43 is Anthony Tedesco. Aggies have won the last 5 games against their Keystone Cup rivals. Widener has the all-time lead between the teams. And coin toss coming here. Delaware Valley will find out where they're playing in the NCAA playoffs tomorrow. Usually the selections are announced sometime in the early evening. As the Aggies come out, waited till the 10th game of the season, I think, to break out the Kelly Green jerseys. And Widener with a different look for them. Used to them in the powder blue and white. Now they're in gold and white. 2 teams led by their defense. Widener's defense on the season, giving up 15 points per game, under 100 yards per game on the ground. They've sacked the quarterback 31 times. And that would all make them the best team in the conference in terms of defense if it weren't for Delaware Valley, who is the top-ranked team defensively, not just in the conference, but in the country. Number 1 in points against, number 1 in rushing yards against, number 1 in passing yards against. And Delaware Valley was approaching a streak where, and this is one of these strange numbers, strange but true numbers for the Delaware Valley defense, they were trying to complete a month in which they did not allow a 3rd down conversion. They went a couple of weeks. Wilkes did get one last week to break the nearly month-long streak. That doesn't mean teams didn't get first downs. It just means they didn't get them on 3rd. And we'll now pause for the national anthem here in the raindrops. I think it might have happened off camera, but you might have seen the lightning flash there. It looks like it's going to roll through. It's very dark clouds. It looks like, the second coming of the apocalypse, but then about a mile to the west of that, it looks fine. So hopefully this will clear out and won't have much of an effect on the game. Wind blowing very strongly left to right at the moment. Aggies and Pride getting set to play. Widener 7-2, 5-2 in the Middle Atlantic Conference. The Aggies 9-0, 7-0 in the conference, ranked number 7 in the American Football Coaches Association poll, and number 10 in the D3Football.com poll. Aggies were picked to win the conference, and they did. Now they'll try and complete a perfect season. First one in a couple of years for Delaware Valley. Last time they won the conference title 2 years ago, skipping the COVID season. They finished 9-1 with a quadruple overtime loss to Wesley.
Kicking off for Widener, number 19,
Larry Eimer set to kick things away, the senior from Sewell, New Jersey. Hoping the ball stays on the tee for him. He's going to need some help. Who is the unfortunate soul who's going to let his finger get kicked? All right. Kendall Jones draws the short straw. Nope. Kendall says, I'm a senior. Somebody else can do it. Well, Al Jordan's a graduate school student, so he's just close your eyes and hope for the best there, Al. Aggies send 2 men back to return kicks. They have not allowed very many points this year, so we have not seen very many kick returns, but it's Jameer Prevard and Tavian Dorsey who are the 2 who are back for Delaware Valley. 81 and 2. Get this squared up. Jordan waves his teammate onto the other side to even off the line. And now Eimer will kick it away. High and short and headed towards Jameer Prevard, who catches at his 15. This is Prevard to the 20, to the 35. Prevard cutting back across the grain. Prevard had an interception return for a touchdown last week. And, well, not sure why he stopped. It's down to the 35. Longest kick return of the year for the junior. There are a lot of seniors on this team, but Jameer isn't one of them. And the junior from Atlantic City, who was on the D3Football.com Team of the Week for the game-sealing 87-yard pick 6 against Wilkes last week, opens this one with some fireworks. Longest kick return of the season for Jameer. And we'll get you the Delaware Valley offense starting across the line with lots of seniors. 4 of them. Senior Corey Shriver from Warminster is your left tackle. Senior Austin Regan from Percy is the left guard. Senior from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Jeremy Adams is the center. Senior Kieran Saunders getting the start today, and a handoff and a 9-yard gain on first down as that offensive line and Jeremy Adams with a huge hole to start it. Kieran Saunders getting the start today in place of Ron Goodwin, who's a junior, and Bam Banafti, the lone junior in the starting lineup from North Plainfield, rounds out the line. The Aggies, the top rushing offense in the conference. They've allowed just 11 sacks. The offensive line, which is very experienced, has been very, very good. 2nd and 1 here on the second play from scrimmage. And Tamir Barksdale makes the catch. Barksdale gets a stiff arm. He goes backwards, and he's going to lose about 5 yards. Well, they say Barksdale got back across the 30. I think he lost a yard and a half. Good coverage by the Pride on defense, and it's 3rd and 3 for Delaware Valley. Aggies wide receivers, Tavian Dorsey, Tamir Barksdale, Nasir Morgan, Isaiah Calhoun. If it seems like I'm mentioning a lot of guys, I am. They spread the ball around a lot. Senior John Davis with 14 catches for 177 yards is one of the targets in there, as was senior Aaron Nelson. Handoff on 3rd and 3, and Simmons goes right up the middle. Simmons inside the 15 to the 14. And Simmons, who is the conference's leading running back, gashes the Pride for about 10. Dante's numbers on the season, 152 carries, 930 yards, 10 touchdowns. That's tops in the conference. Only man in the conference averaging over 102 yards per game. He's gone over the century mark the last 3 weeks, and he's averaging 6 yards per carry. Walt Truxell is the team's starting fullback, along with Devon Speed, another one of those seniors. Devon and his brother Javon, both seniors, twins, honored before the game. Starting tight end for Del Val is Bryce Dorsey. He's got 10 catches for a touchdown, and we'll get you the Aggies quarterback here in a moment. This is Dante Simmons. Simmons to the right side, stiff arm, 10, 5, and slides across the wet turf with a pickup of about 6.5 again. Back at quarterback today, the senior from Philadelphia Northeast High School, Daquan Bohannon. Bohannon's numbers on the season, 105 completions in 210 attempts, 1,290 yards, 16 touchdowns to just 5 interceptions. Bohannon has struggled with accuracy. He's only throwing it at 50%. Also a threat to run the ball. He is 2nd in the conference in rushing touchdowns with 9. 54 carries for 193 yards net of the sacks. And looking to finish off a 10-0 season. Bohannon missed last week, and a flag on the play. Bohannon missed last week with an injured hand. Casey Decker filled in Delaware Valley with their first offensive penalty of the game. Offensive coordinator for Delaware Valley is the head coach, Duke Greco. 15th year as the offensive coordinator, 7th year as the head coach. Became the winningest coach in Del Val football a couple of weeks ago here at home. He's now 68-11. Bohannon on 2nd and 10, under pressure. Evades the sack, and Bohannon will run. And Bohannon is a tank. He is hard to bring down. And, oh, my gosh, Bohannon is almost into the end zone. Bohannon, a 14-yard run. It's like trying to tackle a refrigerator. It just is hard to do. 14-yard run for Bohannon. He's finally brought down at the 2. It looked like he might be sacked. First and goal for Delaware Valley, just outside the 1, they'll say. Aggies with 39.3 points per game. A lot of that set up and some of it scored by the defense this year. I formation, leaping over the pile and in. Touchdown. That's Dante Simmons, and that's his 11th score of the year. And the Aggies waste no time going in front of their rivals here. The long kick return by Brevard sets up a 1-yard run for Simmons, and the Aggies have a 6-0 lead. Aggies have had the ball to start the season almost every game this year. When they've won the toss, they've taken it first. It's traditional for teams, or strategic for them to take it second, but this is the second week in a row that Delaware Valley got the ball to start and went right down the field to score. Extra point is good. Aggies have settled on Jack Hughes, who's now 26 for 32 on the season for extra points. Sophomore has figured out the early season problems, and the Aggies are quickly in front. With 11:23 to play in the first quarter, it's 7-0. Yeah, wrong box. That's the PA announcer over there. Someone turning in lost keys to us. Unless they're listening at home, I don't think we're going to be much help. Aggies will kick it away. Pride will send Jordan Baxter, and Jarris Adams back to return the kick. High and short and fielded. And ducking out of bounds is Jordan Baxter, that one looked almost like a fair catch without the signal. Baxter goes out of bounds, and the Pride will bring their offense onto the field. Get you the Widener starting offense here in a moment. The key question here is who is playing quarterback for them? A handoff and a couple of yards on the ground, but not very much. Okay, well, the starting quarterback in the 2-deep is number 9, Tristan Harris, but he is not on the travel roster, and he is not the starting quarterback. It is Joey Paoletti, the freshman from Broomall. Joey has thrown one pass all year, 1 for 1 for 28 yards. So this is, for all intents and purposes, his first action of the season. Paoletti playing in place of Harris as the quarterback for Widener. Pride will have 3 wide receivers, 2 to the top of the formation and 1 to the bottom. We'll get you their offensive line after this play on 2nd and 8. Paoletti keeps it and runs right into the middle of a swarm of Kelly Green jerseys. Widener's offensive line, experienced as is Del Val. On the left tackle, you got Ryan Stecklin, the graduate student from Warminster. In fact, it would make him a high school teammate of Corey Shriver. Cody Rusing is your left guard. Sean Sabo, the senior center. Hunter Werkheiser is the right guard. And Big Matt Thomas, the sophomore, 6'4", is the right tackle. 3rd and 5 for the Pride. 2 plays, 2 runs. Paoletti will go shotgun in a 5 wide receiver set, and he will throw it. Maybe. Under pressure? No, he is sacked. Dropped by Anthony Nobile. Nobile had 3.5 sacks last week. Just short of the program record, and he's got 1 here. Last week, Anthony was wearing the number of his All-American twin brother, Michael, who was lost for a season with an ACL injury. Good to see Michael on the sidelines today. Anthony filling the void, and Anthony's a starter as well. He's an excellent player in his own right. Pride concerned about a punt block here. They're going to add protection on 4th and about 8. It's a low snap, but it's a very good kick. And taken by Barksdale at his 32, 33, 35, skips a man, and Barksdale down the sideline. Barksdale can fly, and he's cut down at the 48. And the All-American kick returner puts Delaware Valley in business again to start this drive in Widener territory. Let's take a look at the sack by Nobile. As Paoletti just unable to find anyone, and the pocket dissolves on him. First and 10 for Del Val, inside Widener territory. Aggies with a 7-0 lead. Took 3.5 minutes to go about 35 yards after the long kick return for Brevard to start the game. Bohannon with Simmons to his left, and this time Daquan will sling it. It's caught by Aaron Nelson. And Nelson with a completion and an 11-yard gain for Aaron. 10th catch of the season for Aaron. 162 yards and a score. He had a just missed an 100-yard game against Misericordia a few weeks ago. 8:45 and counting. Aggies going against the wind, but you wouldn't know it from the way they're moving the ball so far. Nelson and the freshman from Atlantic City, Nasir Morgan, to the top of the formation for Del Val. Truxell in front of Simmons. Simmons on the draw. Simmons brought down inside the 40. Nice tackle there by Widener as number 41, Terrence Thompson, makes the stop. Thompson, the team's leading tackler. And let's get you the Widener starting defense. It's a 4-3-4 set for head coach Mike Baranak. Across the front, 4 really good guys. Braden Strauss, the junior linebacker from Montgomery. Nick Werheiser, senior from Delran, New Jersey. Brandon Kearns, grad student from Saylorsburg. And Mario Scotis from Trapp, Pennsylvania. Scotis leads the team with 37 tackles. But between the two ends, the Pride have 15 sacks. Scotis has 10.5. Not going to get a sack here because Bohannon's going to run it. And Bohannon runs right through the defense. And Daquan Bohannon inside the 15 to the 12. And Bohannon, like a train downhill, rolls inside the red zone, and the Aggies have it 1st and 10. Widener's linebackers lead the team in tackles. The 3 linebackers, you start with the junior from Jenkintown, Terrence Thompson. He has 51 stops on the year. Matt Konzelman from West Hampton, New Jersey, and Kevin Davis, the junior from Baltimore, rounds out the linebacking core. We'll get you the Pride secondary here in a second. 1st and 10 from the 14. Handoff, this is Ralph Highland into the game, and the senior leaps through the pile and lands at about the 9-yard line. Tackle made by Widener's Hunter Werkheiser. Secondary for the Pride, Keith Cheek Jr., the senior from Marlton, and Anthony Jordan, a grad student from Damascus. Mike Schoenlieber and Anthony Libera Tosholi. And I am very happy to announce that Libera Tosholi is a senior because I've stumbled over his name for 4 years. 2nd and 8, a handoff on the jet sweep to Tamir Barksdale, and Barksdale works his way down to the 5. It's going to be 3rd and about 2 for Delaware Valley. 6:29 and counting, and a very quick moving first quarter with both teams keeping the ball on the ground. Wind still blowing a little bit into the Aggies' face. Aggies in the red zone this season now with the earlier score. 38 for 47. All but 2 of those are touchdowns. They only have 2 field goals all year and generally do not attempt them. Nelson and John Davis to the top of the formation. Barksdale comes in motion. Bohannon will fake to him, step inside the pile, and we'll see where they mark him. He's going to be close to the 1st down, but I'm not sure he got it. Stepping up to fill the hole there for Widener was Mike Pulowski, graduate defensive back or defensive lineman from Marlton. And they're going to say Daquan did not get anything, so 4th and goal from the 1.5. The Aggies will go for it. On the season, the Aggies on offense are 12 for 26 on 4th downs. At one point, they were something like 8 for 10, so they have cooled off considerably there. Have to get to the 3 for the first down. Bohannon. And the Aggies will call timeout. Timeout called by Delaware Valley. 5:10 to play in the first quarter. Aggies lead 7-0. It is rivalry day across the conference today. Probably the best known rivalry, no offense to this one, but the best known rivalry in the conference is the Mayor's Cup, where they play for a trophy that looks like a lump of coal, seriously. Wilkes University taking on King's College. Scoreless 2 minutes into the game there. Wilkes with a win would be into the Max Centennial playoffs. Kings hoping to play spoiler and get to 500. Sometimes it's called the Pretzel Bowl, not this year, but the Pennsylvania Dutch country rivalry between Lebanon Valley and Albright. That is 8-0, Leb Val on top. 5 minutes gone in the first quarter. Flying Dutchman trying to get to 4-5. Albright 2-7. Other games today, Alvernia and FDU. I'm sorry, Stevenson and FDU, Alvernia and Lycoming. And the Aggies have not changed their mind, just changed their personnel. So 4th and 1 from the 4. Aggies scored on their first drive, forced a 3-and-out on the second. Handoff goes to Simmons on the draw, and he slams into the line. The far side judge, who would have the worst angle, is giving it to him. The near side judge, we'll see. We'll see what they think. The Pride say they made the stop. They may have to measure. Nope, they don't have to. 1st and 10 for the Pride. Good stop from the Widener defense. The Widener defense has been very good in the red zone this year. They've given up, well, now 18 for 23, but only 12 touchdowns. So Pride get the stop. Aggies' second drive finishes about half a foot short of the first down they needed, and Widener takes over. Joey Paoletti at quarterback for Widener. Well, we'll give you the offensive numbers in a moment, although it's not really with him at quarterback. And a handoff goes to Sean Thompson, who gets about 2 yards. On the season, again, this is with Tristan Harris at quarterback, 24 points per game, 157 yards per game on the ground, 208 through the air. They convert at 45% on third down. They had turned the ball over 17 times, which is a lot for a team with a 7-2 record. 2nd and 7 for the Pride after Thompson gets 3. Pride went 3-and-out on their first possession with the last play an Anthony Nobile sack. Backed up inside their 5. Paoletti hands it off, and not very much, maybe a yard or two. It'll be 3rd and long coming up for Widener. Sean Thompson with the carry there for Widener, number 10. 3rd and 5. The Aggies defense against this year giving up third downs at 17%. And again, went nearly 3 weeks without surrendering a third down conversion. Paoletti comes to the line here. Paoletti hands the ball off, and that's not going to work. Thompson gets about a yard, and that's it. And he's cut down by the senior, Dante Mason. The safety comes up. And if the Pride aren't going to throw the ball at all, it's going to be 10 men in the box all afternoon. Pride get about 7 yards. They're going to have to punt from their own end zone. Aggies with a 7-0 lead, 3:24 and counting here in the first quarter. And again, Widener without their starting quarterback today. Widener's punter, A.J. Salona, checks in. He's averaging just 31 yards per kick. Stands about halfway into his own end zone. And this is a wobbler. It bounces, and Barksdale can't quite get it. Ends up being an effective punt. It was so bad it was good. It did not get very high, but the dying duck hits the 47 of Widener and wobbles across the across midfield to the Del Val 45, it looks like. Widener's defense coordinator, here's a name you may recognize, Dan Connor. A great middle linebacker at Penn State, is the Bednar Trophy winner. Wonder what that thing looks like. That must be pretty impressive. Bohannon throws underneath, pass is caught, and this is Barksdale, and he's gone. Barksdale on the slant, and no flags yet. The Aggies are routinely called for them on celebrations, but nothing so far, and the officials are going to warn him. And the Aggies take one play to go 55 yards. 13-0 Del Val. Shane Oros and Tim Lawless, long-time special teams tandem, and I feel like I should give them some props because while the Aggies have had kicking problems over the years, there is seldom a problem with Lawless and Oros. They are really, really good together. And I know Lawless plays baseball, so he's got another sports season in front of him. Jack Hughes bangs it through. Aggies up 14-0. Visitor in the press box from Penn State Abington. Matt Levy is here. Are you working? You're retired. A longtime partner in crime and enjoying a Saturday without home games, I guess, at the Penn State Abington campus. No, now it'll be someone on Del Val's chance to have their finger kicked. Kick is away from Pat Moran, taken by Baxter at his 15. Baxter right up the middle. There's a huge hole, and Baxter forced out of bounds by Delaware Valley's number 8. That was a name I don't. That's Isaiah Calhoun. I didn't know he was on special teams. Baxter seems, well, he's lightning quick, but he seems perhaps a little contact averse. It's the second time he's run the ball out of bounds on a kick return. Well, good field position for the Pride, who trail 14-0. Ryan Paoletti, the freshman running quarterback, is not attempted to pass. Well, he's attempted to pass. He was sacked. He has not thrown the ball yet. Pride 6 plays and out. We haven't even had a chance to give you the Aggies starting defense. And Thompson runs this to midfield. Good pickup for Thompson of about 5 yards. So let's get you the Del Val starting defense. Across the front four, the junior from Huntington Valley, Yusuf Aladinov. He is joined on the to his right, one of the tackles, Anthony Nobile, D3 football team of the week, and had a sack earlier. Shamir Vessels, the senior from Seaford, Delaware, anchor of that line, and Sebastian Juan Louis, freshman with 10 tackles. Sebastian is the one who takes the place in the starting lineup of Mike Nobile, who was lost for the season with an injury, although it's Aladinov who really takes the position. Paoletti's pass here is off the mark to Thompson, incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up. Really good blocking there from the Widener. Matthew Thomas laid on top of Aladinov, and Aladinov is slow to get up. Hopefully Youssef is all right. Youssef, I would say, is the most dynamic player on the Aggies defense now with Michael Nobile out. 40 tackles, 15 for loss, 7.5 sacks, 5 fumble recoveries, and a touchdown. And so a troubling sign here for Del Val. Aladinoff tried to twist off of the block by Thomas and crumpled to the ground. He's going to get up on his own power. And we'll keep an eye on Aladinoff. Middle linebackers for Delaware Valley today: Trent Freeze, Aaron Myers, and Justin Briggs. Anthony Tedisco is unavailable for the first half because of a targeting penalty last week. 3rd and 5. Aaron Myers, 3-year contributor. Highlight him, 23 tackles. Uh-oh. This is a test of the emergency broadcast system? That's what that is, right? Okay. Throw underneath. Paoletti with the completion. And Gillespie, who is by far Widener's best offensive player, makes the catch. Mason's excited about the hit, but Gillespie with a 15-yard pickup and a first down. Widener's wide receiving core. Gillespie, the senior, that's his 35th catch of the year. He's got 8 touchdowns. Ty Holbert, the other starting receiver. Joe Bristow is the tight end. Thompson and Ben Gates is the fullback. That rounds out the Widener starting offense. I realized because they went off the field so quick, we didn't give you the full offense either. This is a reverse. And looking to throw the ball down the field is Gillespie, and it is incomplete. Over the head of the wide receiver. We've seen the teams hit for touchdowns on that twice this year. Stevenson did it, and Lycoming did it. And Widener gave it a shot, but the ball was over the head of Ty Holbert. A heave there from James Gillespie. That's actually Gillespie's 2nd pass attempt of the year, which means James Gillespie has more pass attempts right now than or as many as Ryan Paoletti does. And Paoletti's the quarterback. Aggies secondary: Jameer Prevard and Justin Harris. One is an All-American, one probably will be. Blaine Netterman and Dante Mason are the safeties for Del Val. 2nd and 10 for the Pride, trailing 14-0 in the closing minutes of the first quarter. Paoletti will fake it and run into the line and get swallowed up after a gain of about 1.5 yards. Ahmad Jones, the sophomore from Atlantic City, makes the tackle. Delaware Valley's defense, #1 in the country, and it will not take a significant step back next year. A lot of these guys return, and we've seen some very good young players along the line as well. Monlouis is in the lineup, but Kelvin Brown has played very well. Jones is a sophomore. Ahmad Moore is a sophomore. And they would get Michael Nobile back, a 2-time conference player of the year. 39 seconds here, 3rd and 8 for the Pride. I would think this is 2-down territory. Paoletti out of the shotgun, takes a snap. Excellent protection, throw across the middle, but dropped in as soon as he touches it is his wide receiver, Joe Bristow, and it's going to be 4th and about 7 when we start the 4th quarter, and the Pride aren't going to fool around. They're going to bring the punting unit on. And they might want to hurry if they want the help of the wind. Well, they're not going to get it off unless they call a timeout here. 6 seconds, and that's exactly what they're going to do. So they call a timeout here with 2 seconds to kick the ball with the wind. And the Aggies will have to guard for the fake. Let's take a look at the live stats. Oh, Chris isn't down there. It's the first time live stats have worked all year, so that was the joke. But they're working. 14-0 Del Val. And Widener will punt the ball away here, we think. AJ Salona stands at midfield. Well, this is just the way Widener does their protection. They just have a guy shoot back there for whatever reason. High snap. Salona handles it. Kicks it away, nearly blocked by Dante Mason, and into the end zone. Good job by Mace to not pick up the penalty there. And that is the end of the first quarter. So Delaware Valley, defense, its usual excellent selves, and the offense with 14 early points. The Aggies with a 14-0 lead. First quarter statistics, Delaware Valley, 14 plays for 141 yards. Widener with 12 plays for 29 yards. Bohannon in the first quarter, 3 for 3 for 63 yards and a score. The one-play, 55-yard drive to Tamir Barksdale helping that out. Paoletti with a 2 for 3, 14 yards in the first quarter. Aggies on the ground got 40 yards from Daquan Bohannon and 31 from Dante Simmons. So Widener, which gives up on the ground on the season 77 yards per game, gives up 78 in the first quarter. Aggies with 2 touchdowns in that quarter, one for Dante Simmons on a 1-yard touchdown plunge as he leaped over the top of the defense. Aggies were, thank you very much, stopped on 4th and 1 from inside the 5. But after Widener went 3 and out, a 55-yard touchdown pass from Bohannon to Barksdale. Tamir's 3rd receiving touchdown of the year put Delaware Valley up 14-0, and that's where we stand. Bohannon will throw. Slings it to Dante Simmons. And Simmons gets about 7 on the play. Simmons does not catch the ball out of the backfield a whole lot. That's just his 9th reception of the year. 9 catches for 30 yards and a score. Aggies will make some substitutions here. They bring in a second tight end, Zach Harding, senior from Hamilton, New Jersey. They also bring Tavian Dorsey in. Dorsey to the top of the formation. I think that's John Davis slotted inside of him. And Davis gets the carry. And John very close to the first down. Again, the far side official has him having it. The near side official, which has the closer call, does not. And he is short. It'll be 3rd and about half a yard. Now they'll say 3rd and a full yard. My correction here, that was not John Davis. That was Quadier Struthers with the carry, who's been battling injuries all year, and Quaddy limps off the field here. 3rd and very short. Bohannon, who's a big body, will go shotgun. Hand it off to Simmons, and Simmons squirts through the line for the first down. Nice block there on the line by Jeremy Adams, the center, to open up the hole. The Aggies move the chains, leading 14-0, 13:35 to play. Aggies have found their offensive identity here over the last 4 weeks. They're going to run the ball primarily and then utilize their wide receivers' speed where they can. Bohannon fakes to Highland, and Bohannon looking to throw it down the field for Tavian Dorsey, who cannot get there. Good pressure applied by Widener behind the line of scrimmage. We'll try and pick up the number of that guy whose jersey is pulled up to his chest. It's Matt Konzelman who had the pressure. Konzelman, the senior from West Hampton, New Jersey. Pride and Chester pretty much right on the Jersey-Delaware border, so they'll have a fair number of New Jersey products on their team. 2nd and 10. Ryan Laughlin, into the game. Laughlin, a couple touchdowns on the year for Ryan. This one goes to Dante Simmons, and Simmons is swallowed. Nice play there by the defense. Nick Werheiser got there first and dropped Simmons for a loss of a yard. It'll be 3rd and 11. So the Widener Pride, who got gashed in the first quarter, finding their footing here. Simmons taking the long way off the field. 5 wide receiver set. Des Austin into the game. He's to the bottom of the formation. Pride with a 4-man front. I will try and get home with that. Bohannon throw underneath. Catch is made. That's Austin. Austin at the 50. And Des Austin down to the 41-yard line. Austin has had a couple of third down conversions the last couple of weeks. Senior from Pottstown, Pennsylvania, one of an army of wide receivers for Del Val. None of them have a whole lot of yards. They spread it around. Leading receiver for Del Val in terms of catches is Barksdale, but a lot of those are very short patterns. He's got, well, except for the 55-yarder today, he's 35 catches for 311 yards coming into the game. 1st and 10 for Del Val in Widener territory. Bohannon, quick sling. I think that's Aaron Nelson. You can tell from the way he catches the ball. As Nelson traps it against his chest and is tackled with about a 5-yard gain. Second catch of the game for Nelson. Ralph Highland checks in. Dante Simmons checks out. Aaron Nelson will check out. Nasir Morgan checks in. Morgan, a good-looking freshman receiver, 11 catches for 248 yards and 5 scores. Early in the year, he was clearly Bohannon's favorite deep threat. Bohannon will throw down the field, and he's looking for Morgan. Morgan back against the pressure, and no, incomplete. Tried to come back against it. Good defense from Widener. Anthony Jordan knocks it away. It's 3rd and 5. Third and 5 for the Aggies. Bohannon under pressure. Whoa! That was it looked like the shortstop that Bohannon has been in his career as a baseball player, firing it across his body. Incomplete. So the Aggies will go for it on 4th and 5, 0 for 1 today. When you've got the number 1 defense in the country, you can take as many chances as you want, pretty much. Nelson, Davis, Barksdale to the top of the formation momentarily as Barksdale shifts. Highland to the left of Bohannon. 4th and 5, throw underneath. Oh, Barksdale took his eyes off of it. Heard footsteps. I don't think he was going to get there anyway. Good coverage from Matt Okanieski, the junior from Birdsboro, and the Aggies failed to convert on 4th down. So the Pride defense bends but doesn't break. See if the Pride offense can get something going here, trailing 14-0 with 10:47 to play in the first quarter. Paoletti at quarterback. Hands the ball off, and Thompson tackled by himself as he lost his footing, and Thompson hits the ground. Thompson, 137 carries for 604 yards, 3 touchdowns on the year. He's gotten most of the work. Tahir Cruz, who we haven't seen yet, 52 carries for 265 yards. Also, Danny Dutkowitz has a bunch of carries for yards. He's not on the 2 deep, but he might play. Paoletti, good fake there. He gets about 3 yards. Good thing he didn't hand it off because the wide receiver, oh, that was Cruz actually, was about to get crushed. 3rd and 6. Joey Paoletti from Marple, Newtown. Right here in, that's in Bucks County. Or is that Delaware County? Not sure. Philadelphia suburb somewhere. 3rd and 6. 5 wide receivers, 3 to the bottom, 2 to the top. Justin Harris getting a big cushion. Violetti under pressure, and he dives, and well, his knee hit the ground a yard short. Good effort there from the freshman. It just his knee hit the ground at the 45, 4th and 1. They're short. See what they want to do here. They don't want to fool around. Punting unit comes onto the field again for Widener. So 4 drives, 3 3-and-outs. If they do indeed punt it here. 9:05 to play in the first half. Aggies looking to complete a 10-0 season. And they got too many guys on the field. So they're going to have to take a timeout. Second timeout for Delaware Valley. Again, with a win, Delaware Valley would, in addition to winning the Keystone Cup and completing a perfect regular season, they would be in prime position for a very good matchup in the first round of the playoffs. The NCAA playoffs, it works differently at this level than it does at the Division I level. It's a 32-team tournament, 27 automatic bids. The Aggies have one of them. Very few at-large bids, and no one from our conference is in line for consideration. It is a regional tournament, so they don't seed it 1 to 32, and Delaware Valley is not going to play someone from Texas or Illinois. They have made the rule now, they've changed the rule that it used to be a 500-mile driving radius. It's now a 600-mile driving radius. So if you draw a 600-mile circle around Del Val, there are a lot of places you can go or have people come to you. Traditionally, when Del Val has gone 10-0, they've played one of the New England schools in the first round. Norwich, Western New England, those have all been opponents in recent years. Ball is kicked away. Barksdale did not make a fair catch signal, and there he goes. And there goes Tamir. And Tamir Barksdale is gone. Wow. He made the catch. It looked like he was going to be stuck in the on the ground. And good for the Aggies. They've learned to do their little celebration things on the sideline where they can't be penalized. And Barksdale, we'll see the official numbers. Is that 80 yards? 84 yards for Barksdale on the touchdown. Wow. And the extra point is up, and the Aggies are rolling. Second punt return of the year for a touchdown for Barksdale. He's the school's leader in that category. He's got 6 touchdowns. He's a sophomore. So he's got the record already, and he's going to put it deep, deep, deep into his rearview mirror before he's done. Kid can fly. .8:35 to play. Good crowd on hand, and so far it's the near sideline and the north side of Philadelphia's suburbs that are celebrating here. The Aggies with a 21-0 lead. Barksdale now a 55-yard reception for a touchdown and an 84-yard punt return for a score. 21-0 Del Val. Baxter from his own 4. This kid can fly too. No, not when he doesn't have enough blocking. Down at the 17. Tackled by Ahmad Jones, I think is 12. Yes, sophomore linebacker from Atlantic City. There is a flag on the play in the backfield where Delaware Valley kicked off. And Widener might want to make them do this again. Yeah, they'll re-kick it. Take a look at the other conference scores for you today. This is rivalry day. Why don't we take a look at the other big rivalries in Division III? They call it the biggest little game in America. It's the 120th meeting or so of Williams and Amherst College, two small liberal arts schools in the woods of Massachusetts. No score reported from that one. That is one of the biggest attended games in the country. Small schools with very active alumni. And it's 10-3 Eefs. Yes, that's their mascot there, the Eefs, which is a purple cow. They're leading the Mammoths of Amherst. That whole conference has strange mascots. Corticajug between Cortland and Ithaca. That is the nastiest rivalry, I think, in Division III. Covered that for a number of years, and well, I guess they should have just took the should have just took it as the kicker smacks it through the back of the end zone for a touchback. Nice kick there from Pat Moran. Corticajug game between Cortland and Ithaca. Cortland Red Dragons have already won their conference. Ithaca needs a win in one of the other big rivalry games to make the NCAA playoffs. Those are both teams Delaware Valley could see down the road. Red Dragons lead the Bombers of Ithaca 14-6 halfway through the first quarter in upstate New York. Both of those schools right around Ithaca. Handoff. And about 3 yards for Thompson. The other big rivalry game in upstate New York is the Dutchman's Shoes games between Union College and Hobart College. If Union wins, they are the conference champs. I'm sorry, if Union wins, Ithaca is the conference champs. I also got the teams wrong. Oh, Union and RPI. My mistake. RPI with a win would win the conference. If Union wins, Ithaca gets the conference title there. Those are the major rivalries in this part of the country, along with Kings and Wilkes, which is still scoreless in the Mayor's Cup. Second and 6. Handoff right up the middle and a big gain. And I think that's Dutkowitz. Yep. Danny Dutkowitz, 47th carry of the year, and that was a good one. That was about 10 yards there for Dutkowitz. Other big rivalries in Division III today, the Monon Bell game between Wabash and DePaul. That is out in Indiana. These are just fun to say. They call it simply the game between Randolph-Macon and Hampden-Sydney College in Virginia. And I think Jameer Pavard is going to come off the field injured here. Now they're going to say Delaware Valley used their last time out. Pavard was clearly shaken up. Lehigh Valley rivalry between Moravian and Muhlenberg. Muhlenberg looking for an at-large bid to the playoffs. Mules on top. Actually, I think Muhlenberg is going to win that conference. They're 13-0. Or leading 13-0. They're not 13-0. That would be way more games than you're allowed to play. One of the more entertaining trophy games takes place in about 11 minutes in Illinois. It's the Bronze Trophy game between Knox and Monmouth. Two schools in Illinois. The Cuyahoga Bowl, played later on. Baldwin Wallace and John Carroll in that one. The Secretary's Cup between the Merchant Marine Academy and the Coast Guard Academy. It's all Merchant Marine early, 21-0. So lots of fun rivalries here on the last game, last week of the regular season. 1st and 10 for Widener after the Dutkowitz first down. And the Aggies will bring Ahmad Moore out, sophomore defensive back. He'll play in place of Jameer Pavard. Looks like the Aggies have 6 different defensive backs out there because Aaron Myers, who's a linebacker, was a safety by trade before he was moved up. Whoops. Aggies jump but get back. 1st and 10. Hand off to Dutkowitz. Dutkowitz to the right side. Pretty good run again. Pick up a 5 for Danny Dutkowitz, who's in 48th carry of the year for him. Sophomore from Warrington. Aggies will make another personnel substitution. It's big number 99 running off the field. That's 5'11", 335-pound freshman Kelvin Brown. Pride having some success moving the ball here, running it down 21 to nothing. Well, not there. Dukowitz spins into the tackle, and now he managed to save it for a yard. Could have been worse. Tackle made by Anthony Puntalillo, number 48 for Del Val. Third and about 4 for the Pride. Trying to put 2 first downs together for the first time today. Trailing 21 to nothing. 2 long Tamir Barksdale touchdowns for the Aggies. Paoletti has some time. No, he does not, because there's Yusuf Aladinoff getting underneath the block and making the sack. Aladinoff so quick. When he gets low to the ground, it's like trying to block a cat. And Aladinoff pulls Paoletti down. This is the 8.5 sack of the year for Aladinoff. It'll be interesting when the first team all-conference list comes out next week, how many guys Delaware Valley has on it. I mean, they won't, and you shouldn't, but you could just take the whole first team. Kick is away. There are some other guys, including Mario Scatise of Widener, Mario McIntyre of Stevenson, Keith Hand of FDU Florham. They all will be and should be on that list, but there aren't too many guys that you look at Delaware. I would guess all 11 will be on the all-conference list in some form or fashion. It'll also be interesting to see who wins Offensive and Defensive Player of the Year. I would think Offensive Player of the Year, I mean, you could make a case for Dante Simmons here of Del Val. I think Connor Perez of FDU Florham is probably the favorite just because of all the touchdowns he has. Did not do him any good against Del Val. I think he had something like 2 catches for 10 yards. Bohannon under pressure, on the run. Shovel pass to Simmons, and this one's coming back because of a holding penalty. Simmons gets about 7. That's not going to count, though. 78 for Del Val. Kieran Saunders, I think, might be the victim. Nope. Off by 2. Bam positions, not numbers. Bam Benafti is the culprit. On the defensive side, Mike Nobile is still ranked in the top 5 for sacks, even though he's only played half the season. We made the joke last week you could just give it to number 7 because between Michael and his twin brother Anthony, who played with the number 7 on last week, that would be a pretty formidable combination, but I'm not sure who will get it on defense. Hand off to Simmons, and Simmons into the line, and nothing. 1st and 20 coming up. If you wanted to make the case from the Del Val defense, I think you would go with either Aladinoff or Anthony Tedesco, who's missing the first half here today because of the targeting penalty last week. One thing about Delaware Valley's defense, they don't have individual guys with great numbers because they've allowed so few plays against all year. I think we still are under 1,000 yards total for offense against in the last week of the season. And Bohannon in trouble. And he flips it out. Catch is made. John Davis. Ooh, if Davis had another step there, he was gone. The field was a little wider. Good block from Aaron Nelson, who said, look, I took out 2 guys for you. But Davis just short of the first down. He gets 17 yards, though. It's 3rd and 2. Aggies will bring Harding and Walt Truxell in, along with Aaron Nelson. Third and 2 coming up for the Aggies here. This game has a second half feel. We're still in the first half. It's 21-0 Del Val. And whoops, can't do that. It's Kieran Saunders. That was 2 plays early on predicting the penalty, so it'll be 3rd and 8. We've covered this throughout the season. Here comes the obligatory mention again. The Aggies are the most penalized team in the country in terms of penalty yards against, 124 yards. It was funny looking at the conference stats. They list it by fewest penalties yards against, but Delaware Valley has so many that they've broken the algorithm and they're listed as first and last in the conference. Oh, great play by Nelson. Are they going to call it a catch? Yes. Catch at the 44-yard line. Great play by Aaron Nelson. Taps the toes, and the Aggies convert into Pride territory. Great catch. Take a look at that play from Nelson there. First and 10 for Delaware Valley. Inside Pride territory again. Bohannon gets out of trouble and just throws it away. Pride are doing a great job rushing on the right side of the line. That time it was Cade Brennan, the sophomore lineman, who almost got there, a transfer from Bucknell University. Played his high school ball at Garnet Valley, that is in Delaware County. Good looking young player, 6'5". He looks like a defensive end. 2nd and 10 for Del Val. Simmons, and they give it to Dante. Dante with a stiff arm, but he does not get away, and he loses a couple. Great tackle by Terrence Thompson. 3rd and 12 for Del Val. Now they say James Gillespie, but that's Gillespie's a wide receiver. Widener does have a lot of duplicate numbers, as a lot of teams do. So 3rd and very long here for Del Val. They have to get to the Widener 34. They lead 21-0 with 2 minutes to play here in the first half. Bohannon steps up in the pocket. Wants to throw because he needs a lot. Well, now Daquan will run, and he got very close to the first down. One thing you like about Bohannon, and you've liked about the Aggies quarterbacks, really, every one of them, for almost the 2 decades we've been doing this, they all have the ability to run if the play breaks down. Bohannon does, Darden, Knobloch, Mike Isgro, all these guys over the years have been really good runners, really good athletes. I saw Anthony Fontana was here earlier. He did well in that in his 1 year as the quarterback last year. 4th and 2, Aggies will go for it because, again, they're very, very hard to score on. Bohannon wants to run to the left, no, to the right, and now he just runs people over. And we'll see if he's got it. He does. Nice job by Daquan. And the Aggies are going to go hurry up here on 1st and 10. Pride are rotating a lot of guys, and now the Aggies trying to catch them. Not able to do it because John Davis has lost. 1st and 10. Bohannon under pressure. And, oh, man, he had Des Austin wide open and just missed him. Dante Simmons checks back in for Del Val. Austin comes out. Simmons 10 carries for 43 yards. Got off to a really good start, but Pride have shut him down over the last couple of possessions. Morgan as Barksdale comes in motion. Bohannon, this is coming back again. And incomplete. It's going to be a holding penalty on the play. Aggies are just unable to block on that right side, right side of the line. Mike Pulowski has been in the backfield all day and was there again. Pulowski has 5 sacks on the year. And the Aggies will have a 2nd and 20. Must be having problems with the live stats up in Wilkes-Barre because time is going backwards. The last time we looked, there were 5 minutes gone. Now there's 1 minute gone in the game. Second and very, very long. 20 for Del Val. Bohannon. Catch not made. Incomplete. Nelson unable to hang on to it. Thinking about what he wanted to do once he caught the ball, and he didn't. So third and very long. 34 seconds to play in the first half. Pride will get the ball to start the second half. Aggies with 21 points here. A long reception from Tamir Barksdale for a touchdown. And a 84-yard punt return from Barksdale for a touchdown. Aggies will bring Matt Odin-Lamy into the game at wide receiver. Play clock down to 3. They do get it off. And Bohannon throwing it for Calhoun. And I think it's intercepted. Well, two guys still fighting for it. It's Widener ball, yep. They're still fighting for it, but they've already called it. Yeah, interception. Good fight from Calhoun there, but Anthony Jordan takes it away. Grad school student. That is his first interception of the year. The Pride don't have very many. They have 7, and now they've got a 15-yard penalty, although they're already on their 2, and there's like 2 seconds left, so 24. So it's not going to matter all that much. Jordan picks up the personal foul. Again, that was not really have any impact. That is Bohannon's 6th interception of the year, but a lot of them have come in those kinds of positions. Third and long, end of a half, basically functions like a punt. Widener has not brought their offense onto the field here yet. 24 seconds to play. Yeah, half the distance would make it from the 2 to the 1 or the 1.5 to the 3/4 or something like that. Yeah. You do have to be careful back here. The Aggies have put safeties up the last couple of weeks and defensive touchdowns. There's not really enough room to snap it and take a knee at the half-yard line. Try and spread the defense out and move it forward at least a little bit here. Paoletti at quarterback. Yeah, he didn't do any good. That's the last play of the half, though, as the Aggies are out of timeouts. And that is the way the first half comes to an end. The Aggies, 2 long touchdowns from Tamir Barksdale and a typically stingy performance on defense. As the Aggies, a couple of the players there are washed away among the white and yellow jerseys. Mason and I think it's Kelvin Brown. Nope, that was Rod Goodwin. Well, that's the end of the first half. We'll take a break. We'll come back in about 10 minutes or so. We'll get you some first half numbers. As the Aggies in front, 21-0.
New Jersey license plate F57KCZ. Again, New Jersey license plate F57KCZ. Also, Pennsylvania license plate KPE. That's KPA 6370. KPA 6370. And Pennsylvania license plate KTA 2867. KTA 2867. These vehicles must be
Welcome back. Let's get you some first half numbers here. Delaware Valley with a 21-0 lead on Widener. In the first half, Aggies outgained the Pride 216-50 in the first half. Pride 36 yards on the ground, 14 through the air. Their quarterback, Joey Paoletti, who came into the game attempting one pass all season, has not added very much to that total. He's thrown 3 today, 2 for 3 for 14 yards. Again, the Pride's top quarterback, and other than Gillespie, their top offensive player, Tristan Harris, not playing today, did not travel with the team. Aggies with 102 yards on the ground, Widener's 36. Aggies with 114 yards through the air to the Pride's 14. Aggies were 4 of 8 on third down, just 1 of 3 on fourth. Widener 1 for 6 on third down, did not attempt anything on fourth down. Aggies 1 for 2 in the red zone. Scoring summary, opening drive of the game, Jameer Pavard returned the ball to the 35-yard on the yard line, Widener 35 on the kick return. Aggies went right down the field with a handful of runs. Dante Simmons a 1-yard touchdown rush. And 3 minutes into the game, the Aggies had a 7-0 lead after Jack Hughes' extra point. Widener's first possession, 3 and out. Anthony Nobile ended that drive with a sack. Aggies got the ball back, drove all the way down to the Widener 4, were unable to pick it up on a 4th and 1. So the Pride took over at their 3, but again went 3 and out. And actually a pretty good kick from the kicker, from the punter, A.J. Salona, gave the Aggies the ball at their own 45. But it took just one play for Daquan Bohannon to hit Tamir Barksdale in stride. Barksdale broke one tackle and took it 55 yards for a touchdown. Jack Hughes kicked the extra point, and the Aggies led 14-0. That was the end of the first period. Widener got the ball inside the Aggies' 40 and then was stopped on a 3rd and long, and then elected to punt the ball. The teams traded punts, and eventually Barksdale made him pay. He caught the ball, looked like he was stuck on his own sideline and was just going to step out of bounds or get tackled, but he slipped through one tackle and shot through the defense for an 84-yard punt return for a score. His second punt return for a touchdown, and probably cements him at that position, as he's the only guy in the conference that has a punt return for a touchdown, I believe. And Jack Hughes again, who's become automatic on extra points, hit the extra point, and the Aggies with a 21-0 lead at the end of one. Individual standouts, Daquan Bohannon, kind of typical Daquan numbers. Okay through the air, 7 for 15, 114 yards, a touchdown. He did have the interception at the end of the half, which was basically, as we said at the time, the equivalent of a punt. It was 3rd and 20 with 30-something seconds left. He has run the ball very effectively, 5 carries for 52 yards, has not been sacked yet. And he's got the Aggies in front 21-0. Dante Simmons, 10 carries for 43 yards. Got off to a real good start before the Pride running defense stiffened. The Aggies had 78 yards in the first quarter running the ball. The Pride have given up 76 yards per game all season on average. A much quieter second quarter for Del Val. Aaron Nelson, 4 catches for 18 yards. Barksdale with the big numbers there because of the 55-yarder. He's got 4 catches for 53 yards. Which sounds weird considering he's got a 55-yarder in there, but that tells you he's got 2 catches for 53 yards. Okay. The other one was a loss. For the Pride, Dan Dutkowitz with 3 carries for 16 yards. That's a very good average. See if they feed him the ball more in the second half. Sean Thompson, 5 for 13. Tahir Cruz, 2 for 6. And Joey Paoletti, again, pressed into service here. Freshman starting quarterback, just 3 attempts in the first half. Defensive standouts, Terrence Thompson, who's the Pride's leader in tackles, has 1.5 for loss and 5 stops. Anthony Nobile with 5 tackles, including a sack. Yusef Aladinoff with a sack. And Anthony Jordan with an interception for the Pride. Well, we thought the sky would clear out and we would get a nicer day, but now it's back to drizzle and wind and big clouds rolling through the area here. Aggies trying to finish off a 10-0 season, head into the NCAA playoffs with a perfect record and a favorable matchup. Don't know whether that game will be home or away. That will be determined tomorrow. And then the announcement made generally in the early evening, 6 or 7 o'clock on the East Coast is normally when that gets made. Quick check of the Middle Atlantic Conference scoreboard for you. All of the live stats are doing weird things today. They're all going backwards in time, where you look and the score one moment, and then you hit refresh, and it's earlier in the game. It's 15-2, I believe, is the score between Lebanon Valley and Albright. Lebanon Valley with the lead there. Wilkes and Kings, while our live stats show a 7-0 Kings lead, I think it's 7 apiece between the Colonels and the Monarchs. Yes, 7-7, 6 minutes to play in the second quarter in Wilkes-Barre, where Kings is hosting. 15-2 at the half for Lebanon Valley. Alvernia and Lycoming, no score reported. Stevenson and FDU Florham, no score reported. And that is the rest of the conference. See, the Aggies are enjoying themselves. It looks more like a dance party than it is a warm-up. But you're up 21-0, and you've already won the conference. And you're trying to stay warm. A little dancing is in order. 51 seconds here. The Aggies will be on defense to start. Bunch of different guys taking their turn with the exercise bikes, trying to stay warm and stay loose. Yusuf Aladinov getting some attention on the trainer's table. Anthony Tedesco now will get to play this half after sitting out his 1/2 penalty for the targeting of last week. That's the rule. You get tossed and you miss 1/2 of football. That happened midway through the third quarter, so missed the first half of this one. Yeah, we're going to need to turn the lights on here. It's 1:30 in the afternoon, I promise, but it looks a lot later than that. They do have lights. They do turn on. They don't use them very often for football. Aggies. This is one where you like, well, the Widener Pride, they're jumping up and down on the sideline too, trying to stay warm and trying to stay in it. So just good to see the two teams able to play each other again after both teams missed the season last year. Neither one played any official spring ball. There was a couple of teams. I think Stevenson, Alvernia, both might have got a game in the spring. But these two programs did not. It is getting darker and darker here. Yeah, they're going to need help. They're not going to be able to let the ball on the tee. It's going to be into the wind. This could be an entertaining kick here for Del Val, as they're kicking against a very, very gale wind now. And Widener's deep men are at their own 17. I'd bring them up. And now the rain pouring down. It's almost like the Forrest Gump scene where he says it's starting to rain sideways. That's what it looks like out there. Yikes. The players are enjoying it. They're probably the only ones. Wind blowing so strong that the American flag is not even just perpendicular to the ground or parallel to the ground. It is tilted upwards. Well, Pat Moran will do his best to push this forward. Again, I don't know that this ball clears the 40. The wind dies down a little bit here. Baxter and Jarris Adams are back to return it for the Pride. Antiem. And high, and well, got it to the 15, and Baxter drops it, finds the handle, and gets nailed. So, shows what I know. Darius Nichols makes the tackle, and the Pride, who looked like they were going to, by dint of Mother Nature, get a pretty good, well, that makes it much harder to see. And there you go. First and 10. Pride with the ball, Ryan Paoletti at quarterback, and weather be darned, they're going to throw it. At least that's how they're going to line up. 5 wide receiver set. Paoletti talking with his center. These are the weather that lots of fumbles are made of. Throw across the middle and incomplete. Through the hands of the intended receiver, Ty Holbert, senior from Greeley, Pennsylvania. That must be up in the Pocono Mountains somewhere. Wampaupack area high school. Second and 10. Pride bring Tevin Hill into the game, a Temple University transfer. He's a big body there, number 11 at the bottom of the screen. Matched up with Jameer Prevard. Paoletti does have a little bit of help next to him in the backfield as the field gets soaked now. Handoff, ball comes flying loose, and the Aggies say they have it. No signal from the official yet. Well, I don't know. There's obviously no question about the fumble. The ball came flying out of the running back's hands, and yeah, it's Delaware Valley ball. Fumble recovered by, is that Blaine Netterman, number 6? No, that's, wow, Netterman has his socks pulled really high up. Yeah, that is Netterman with the recovery. Netterman's had a quiet year because the ball just never gets, again, teams don't run very many plays, and the ball seldom gets thrown deep on the Aggies. As Ladinoff was in the area, although I think basically the rain causes the fumble there. And yet another time this year, an opponent has a 1 or 2 play drive against Delaware Valley before there's a turnover. First and 10 for the Aggies. They go against the driving wind now from inside the 20. And Bohannon will hand it off to Simmons. Simmons skips through 1 tackle and to about the 15. And second and 7 or so coming up for Delaware Valley. They give Simmons the 14, so it's second and 6. (21-0) Del Val. Truxell in motion and an offensive penalty here on Del Val. And Aggies will back up 5 steps. Austin Regan. I think my favorite weather story for covering Del Val football was the NCAA playoffs when Matt Levy was a sports information director, had to go out and scrape the ice off the glass in the middle of the game. Pass here. Nasir Morgan makes a couple of guys miss. He's inside the 5 to the 2 and almost into the end zone. Oh, Nasir Morgan. My goodness. We're going to have to close the window here. That side is actually pretty, I don't know how we managed to, oh, because it was open, duh. To say, how do we keep all the raindrops off there? Wow, waves of water washing across the field here. 13:05, first and goal for Delaware Valley. It's easy to forget there's a football game going on. Out of the power, ball fumbled. Bohannon has it, and he is stuffed. tackled by 4 different guys. Obviously, the ball very slick, and now umbrellas are getting ripped inside out. I have seen games stopped for lightning, but not for wind. We're high up too. The press box here at Delaware Valley is very high off the ground. Yeah, there goes some garbage wafting through the air. 2nd and goal from the 3. And Bohannon nowhere. That looked worse than the last one. Lots of 3. So now the 3rd and goal from the 9 after Morgan almost got the ball into the end zone. Aggies have gone backwards 7 yards. Yeah, things are all over the place. There's number 15, Nick Arcaroli is trying to dry off the ball on the sideline. Thank you. Trying to keep the balls dry. 3rd and goal from the 9. The officials look like they're about ready to get knocked over by the wind here. And timeout, Del Val. So Aggies with a 21-0 lead. They took the lead on the first drive of the game. Dante Simmons with a touchdown. They've held Widener well below 100 yards in the first half. Pride playing with their backup quarterback today. 2 long touchdowns for Tamir Barksdale, one on a 55-yard run, another on a 84-yard punt. And the Pride on their first drive of the second half fumbled the ball. The Aggies have it, but in this weather, it's hard to do much of anything. Aggies. The wind blowing stiff into their face. Here in the box, if you've watched our games, you already know this, but if you're tuning in for the first time, we are in the same press box as the Widener coaching staff, so if you hear the calls and adjustments being made, you're not imagining that. He's going to spread him out here on 3rd and goal from the 7. Man comes in motion. Handoff. Barksdale keeps his footing, and that play went even worse than the last 2. So the Aggies have run 3 consecutive plays on goal to go and gone backwards 3 yards each time. So now 4th and goal from the 12. Remember, this is 1st and goal from the 1. You just lean forward a couple of times. First time, a bad snap. Second time, last 2 times, just bad plays. Now 4th and goal, Aggies. This will be one of the harder ones to pick up. Bohannon throws underneath. Catch is not made. Morgan drops it, and that's the way the drive comes to an end. So a weather-aided turnover. Aggies unable to convert it into points. Pride will take over. Aggies now 1 for 5 on 4th down today. One for 4. Scoreboard update. Lycoming leads Alvernia 14-0. The Warriors win there, which they figure to. Alvernia is winless. Warriors would be into the Max Centennial playoffs. Paoletti, wind at his back. Give this another try here. He's going to throw. And to nobody. Paoletti throwing a fade. Holbert ran the wrong route or he threw the wrong route, but whatever it was way offline. 2nd and 10. Halftime in the Mayor's Cup now, 7 apiece. Wilkes and Kings. The wind picks up, and folks don't come up for protection. That's a bad idea. Go down. Wind harder up here, not lower or lighter. Hand off. Nothing. You're going to see a lot of handoff, no gain for the next 20 minutes or so. The way the weather is. 3rd and 10. Thompson with no gain on that play. Any one of a host of Aggies in there to make the tackle. Tevin Hill to the bottom of the formation. Jameer Pavard, who looks really uncomfortable. He's number 2 for Tevin Green. Looks like he's ready to go inside. Paletti looking his direction. Paletti under pressure. And the pass is knocked away. Good coverage by Blaine Netterman. Netterman had the fumble recovery earlier and pass deflected there. Intended for Joe Bristow, and the Pride will punt it away. See what we get here. Barksdale with 2 long touchdowns already, 1 on a punt and 1 on a kick, or 1 on a reception. A.J. Salona with the wind very strongly at his back. Tall order here for the long snapper, Matt Harrer, who's got to get it back there to him through the wind. And he does. Kick is away. Barksdale at his own 45. Makes one guy miss. Oof. Down at the 45. Boy, Barksdale made a guy miss so bad that the guy ended up landing face first on the turf, and he is in really bad shape. That is Matt Harrer. That is the long snapper. And you know that it's bad because the Del Val coaches, not just the trainers, but the coaches came out on the field to help him. That's Greg Feedick there, former Widener player and longtime Aggies assistant coach. .45 of Widener. Yeah. Wow. It is umbrella shredding wind here. Those little green TVU umbrellas are overmatched. Harrer comes off the field. We'll understand that the vision here is that's Tony, our producer, doing his best, but adverse circumstances here with the weather. We'll call it as best we can. You're not missing much in terms of quality of play. It's a lot of handoffs and loss of one or no gain. So. Aggies come out. Challenge will be seeing if we can figure out through the raindrops here on our window who anybody is. So we got Aaron Nelson to the bottom of the formation. Daquan Bohannon out of the I. I think that's Simmons behind him. And it is Simmons. And there he goes. No, it's Julian White. Excuse me, Julian White for 15. First carry of the day for the freshman, who will be the workhorse next year, one would think. Island and Simmons are both seniors. Aggies have a whole stable of young running backs, but White looks really, really good. This game continues the way it's going now. We'll probably see a lot of those younger backs in the latter stages of the second half here. White again. Nope, this is Simmons this time, and he goes right through the defense to the 18. Kudos to the offensive line. I don't know how they're able to see anything because the wind and the rain coming off the turf. Not that the Widener line can see much either. In a situation like that, they usually say advantage offense because you know when the snap's coming. I formation. Kind of a loose I. Simmons. Big hole. Dante Simmons churning. Zach Harding giving him a ride, very close to the end zone, not in. It'll be first and goal from the 1. A 16-yard run there for Dante. 29 yards on 2 consecutive carries for Simmons. He's got some work to do to get to 100, but he's got 66 now. Let's see if this goes better than the last time it was first and goal from the 1, and the Aggies went backwards 3 yards, 3 consecutive plays. Truxell with Simmons to the right. Give it to Dante. And he's in. Touchdown. Second touchdown of the day for Dante Simmons through the wind and rain. The Aggies drive it in for another score. There's a man down for Widener. See if we can tell through our field goggles, as our one-time broadcast partner used to call them. If you remember Pat Cummings, you've been watching these games for a long time. Looks like Braden Strauss, the junior linebacker, was the man who was slow to come off the field. The goalposts, look at them, they're tilting forward. It's really bad weather. Whoa. Well, I don't know. This will be, this one is much higher on the difficulty scale for Jack Hughes. Simmons needs 13 more yards for 1,000. Good for him. All right. I mean, that ball, I don't think it cleared the back line of the end zone because of the wind. This season, yeah. Well, it'll be interesting. Maybe Simmons will be the offensive player of the year. They do the head-to-head. How did Simmons do against Florham? Kick is away. Yeah, no chance. Oh, gosh. No good. So 27-0 Del Val. Well, now let's see what we get here for the kickoff. We might go onside kick here just because that might be the best way to get the ball to move forward. Aggies lead 27-0. Well, players are, well, half the players are enjoying themselves. You can tell which half. 7:29 to play in the third quarter. Jack Hughes. I'm looking forward to the banner presentation after this game. It's a line drive kick fielded at the 30. Oof. Tackled by 100 different guys. He's still not down. Well, now they're going to call a penalty. How can you tell? Ball advanced to the 42. We'll give credit to Aaron Myers for the tackle, just because. Return from Anthony Libera to Sholey, the defensive back. My goodness. Oh, sideline warning, is that what it was? Okay. If you get picked up and blown off the sideline onto the field, is that a penalty? I'm trying to think. We have not had, I don't know that we've ever had a snow game here at Del Val. Well, I guess it wasn't just a warning because they're moving the ball into Delaware Valley territory. So, I don't understand what that penalty was. Nevertheless, Widener start the ball in Del Val territory, 7:15. Wind very much at their back. The snap almost flies over the quarterback's head. Running back gets no yards as Anthony Nobile makes the tackle on Danny Dutkowitz. He got a yard. Now the fans have given up here in front of us. They've seen enough. Yeah, it's good for viewership. The only other game I can remember where the weather was this bad was 2000, and I'll get to that in a second. Handoff, Dutkowitz outside. He gets out of bounds with basically no gain, maybe a yard. Was early when we started doing this, 2004 or 5. I think it was 5. It was Juniata. The game was played in a downpour. Juniata's not even in the conference anymore. I think it was something like 10-0 was the final. 04, yeah. Yeah, that was the end of the grass field for Delaware Valley for the most part. That was the first home game I think we ever did. 3rd and 7. 6:02 to play. Paoletti. There's a flag on the Aggies for a penalty as Tevin Hill is tackled before he can look at the ball. So that's pass interference. There's really no reason. I mean, $15-yard penalty. So the Widener, when teams have scored against Delaware Valley this year, this is how they've done it. By multiple personal fouls or 15-yard penalties helping them down the field. So Widener is at the Del Val 33. They have moved the ball exactly 2 yards on their own. 1st and 10. Paoletti hands it off. Oh, they're going to try a reverse. Tevin Hill lost the ball, and the Aggies took it away. Tevin Hill with a good return, but Anthony Puntalillo comes out with the ball. And the Temple product gets whacked. The ball comes flying out. The Aggies take over at their own 21. Second turnover of the game by the Pride. This is the 19th turnover. Take a look at the play here. Nicely designed. Can't design for that. Yeah, Anthony Tedesco with the strip. 5:43 to play. Handoff to Simmons. And Simmons tackled around the ankles. Tackle made by the Pride's Kevin Davis. Yeah, 43 with the force, 48 with the recovery. Second and call it 7, I guess. Bohannon hands it off again. Simmons right through the middle. Oh, filling that gap and hitting him like a truck. That's Davis again, I think. Yeah, number 5, Kevin Davis, twice in a row there. Junior linebacker from Baltimore. 3rd and 4-ish. They're in a lightning delay at FDU Florham. 21-14. 3rd and 4 for the Aggies. 4:29. Handoff. Simmons straight ahead. He's got the first down and more. And that gives Dante 1,000 yards on the season. Simmons shoots through the gap. Kevin Davis another stop, but this time much farther down the field, and the Aggies will at least prolong the drive and avoid having to punt it into what are something like 40-mile-an-hour winds right now. Yep, that gives them 1,000 on the season. Handoff, this is Highland. Highland swallowed up. Highland fights forward to get to the line of scrimmage, but not a whole lot more there. Good stop by the Widener defense. First to meet him was Mario Scotis, senior from Perkiomen Valley. No gain. Aggies with a 27-0 lead here. 2 long touchdowns for Barksdale, 2 short touchdowns for Simmons. Widener's offense unable to move against Delaware Valley and against the wind at this point. Julian White, not a whole lot there for Julian. They'll mark him across, it looks like the 45 to the 46. Pick up a 4 for the freshman. 3rd and 6. Again, you're just basically in addition to moving the ball down the field, trying to avoid having to punt it into this wind. A moment ago, we had a point after attempt that could not get through. The kick didn't even get through the back line of the end zone because the wind was so strong. Bohannon. Flag on the play. Ball lost. Davis got it back. See what the play is. It was in the realm of, they're saying offsides on Widener. Encroachment, so it'll be 3rd and short. I don't think that gives them a first down. Unless it's a false start. Yeah, so that does not, the 5 yards does not give Delaware Valley a first down. Makes it 3rd and 1 from the Widener 49. Bohannon, White to his right, and Julian falls forward. He's got the first down, I think. Yeah. Minute 38 to play in the 3rd quarter. And what is turned into a mess weather-wise. Yeah, some of those fans are hanging in there. Nowhere else to go, I guess. 1st and 10 Chain gang is ready for this game to be over. Barksdale comes in motion. Bohannon with Highland behind him. And they give it to Ralph. And Bohannon. Braden Strauss, who's apparently doing okay, makes the tackle. Simmons now 89 yards on 17 carries. Trying to get his fourth 100-yard game in a row. It's Ralph Highland out there right now, though. Davis in motion. They'll give it to Ralph. Ralph gets around the right side this time. And Ralph Highland does a good job. Plants his foot and drives forward. He's got the first down. The senior, Ralph Highland from Philadelphia, Frankfurt High School, gets the first down pickup. And the Aggies successfully avoid having to punt against the wind here in this quarter. That is the end of the third quarter. How about a tip of the cap to the offensive line here for Del Val? Aggies, everybody knows that every play is a run at this point with this weather, and they're just beating their men off the ball and opening up holes all over the place. Yeah, Dante Simmons as well, 1,000 yards. This season, we should say, for Simmons, and Simmons will be, even if he's not the player of the year, and he might be offensively, he will definitely be the first team tailback. Offensive line, those guys, Corey Shriver, Austin Regan, Jeremy Adams. On most days, Ron Goodwin and Bam Benavti. Today, Kieran Saunders. Shane Newell has played with the first team when they've needed a reserve to come in. And the tight ends, Bryce Dorsey and Zach Harding. And one more guy who's kind of unsung and seldom talked about, Walt Truxell, starting fullback for the Aggies. They've had fullbacks over the years who have carried the ball on occasion. Butch Whiteside was one such guy. But fullbacks are primarily, they're blocking backs in this offense, and part of what makes the offense go. Aggies outgaining Widener 320-59 now. The Pride with 45 yards on the ground, 14 through the air. I don't think we're going to see anybody pass much the rest of the day with the hurricane-like weather. Ball dropped by Bohannon. Bohannon picks it up and slides down at the 40. Aggies, Anthony Nobile now with 7 stops in the game. Kevin Davis with 9 for the Pride. Bohannon out of the shotgun now. Ralph Highland to his right on 2nd and 14. Ralph on the draw. And Ralph with a good run. Lunges across the 30 to the 30. No, they're going to say he's right down at the 30. So that's a pickup of 10. It'll be 3rd and 4 coming up. Tamir Barksdale checks out of the game. 13:46 to play here in the fourth quarter. Not sure much anybody's enjoying the weather at this point anymore. They're all gathered together for warmth. Widener brought coats. That was smart. Bohannon on a shovel pass to John Davis. Oh, he gets trucked. No gain. And a big headache as Devon Best, the senior from Baltimore, just ran him over. 4th and 4. Aggies 1 for 5. And they'll go for it, obviously, from here. haven't punted the ball away yet today, and now with this weather, they in a 27-point lead. They probably won't the rest of the way either. I don't even know if Bobby Miller, the senior, is out there. He might have retreated for higher ground. My team's up 27-0. I've punted the ball only a handful of times all year. I'm going to go find a place to be warm and dry. Timeout taken Del Val, 4th and 5 here. Aggies leading the Pride 27-0. Well, the story here today, the weather and the Aggies defense. Hard to move the ball against both of them right now. The Pride with 55 yards of offense, fumbled the ball twice this quarter. Aggies add a touchdown in the third quarter on the short field. Dante Simmons over 1,000 yards in the season. Still needs a handful more to get to 100 here today. He's got 89. And I don't think he's going to, well, unless they bring him in and give him the ball here on 4th and 5 and he can pick it up. I don't know that he'll see the ball again. Ralph Highland with the carry. Oh, Highland runs over a guy and he got the first down. Wow. Oh, well, Ralph Highland. Whoever was the man Highland hit is still down. That was a vicious collision. So Highland, just knowing he needed 5 yards and that there's not going to be able to juke and jive in this weather, he just stuck his head down and ran over the defender, and the defender is still down. Widener Pride player is up to his seated position. It's Kevin Davis, the sophomore linebacker, who's had some big hits on this drive. Highland does pick up the first down on 4th and 5, and the Aggies, in a game only an offensive line coach could love. I'm sure Greg Feedick is enjoying this both because it's against Widener and because his guys are chewing up clock and yardage. Aggies, even in a year like this where they spread the ball around a lot, like are generally an open offense, but nobody is in this weather. 1st and 10 from the 24. Here comes Highland, the headache maker. And this time, not much. Terrence Thompson, the tackle. 2nd and 9 coming up. Kings College going to deal with Wilkes. It looks like their second loss in a row. The Colonels are going to finish by losing 4 of their last 5. 21-7, Monarchs on top as they approach the end of the third quarter. Lebanon Valley comfortably in front of Albright, 18-2. 6:33 to play in that one. Lycoming, as expected, taking care of Alvernia, 21-0. Handoff, Highland probes one side of the line, nothing there. Now he's running backwards. That's a mistake. And he's tackled at the 29. Once again, Braden Strauss disrupts that play. And a flag comes in. Colin Mert, the junior linebacker from Southampton, made the tackle. We'll see what the flag is. A lot of chirping at this point. Bam Benafti pulled off the field. I guess that tells us who the flag is on. Kieran Saunders is saying it's on them, but Kieran Saunders is wrong. So we're going to go from second and that's after the play too. So the 6-yard loss counts. It's a 21-yard loss, and I think Bobby Miller should get that punt and leg warmed up, because unless they've got a 28-yard play in them here with a 40-mile-an-hour wind at their back, I think we're looking at a punt. And there he is. I just see him. There he is. He just emerged on the sideline. Number 13 for Del Val. He looks like he'd rather be somewhere else. Well, Aggies will try and keep him on the sideline. Nope. Hand off to Julian White. Like head to the 37. Bobby Miller lingering by the coaches to see if he's going to be called into duty. 4th and very long. Oh, here he goes. All right. Well, you put the jersey on. You might as well use him. Here comes the punter. On the season, the senior from Jackson, New Jersey, 38.6 yards per punt. He's put it inside the 20 11 times. Well, this one should be fun. I mean, it's going to probably be a kickback. So just kick it as far as you can. Let's just see how far it can go. Let's get it up there in the wind. Yeah, it's into the end zone. Touchback. Widener takes over at their own 20. So the Aggies are going to come away with another victory here in the Keystone Cup. It'll be their 6th in a row, I believe. They will improve to 10-0. Normally they take a picture on the field with the scoreboard behind them saying 10-0. They may do it today, but it will be there will be lots of wet folks in that picture. Duke Greco, the head coach's father, Charles Greco, is the photographer, so he's already out there in wet. What's a little more? Handoff goes to Tom Dukowitz for a couple. Tackle made by, help me out here, Shad. Who is that who's got his jersey pulled up? Is that Ron Godwin? 52? No. 50. Who is that? Oh, it's Vessels. I'm sorry. Yeah. And Widener's going to go backwards 5 yards. Widener backs up 5. 2nd and 12. Dante Mason bouncing around in the backfield. He's enjoying himself. I don't think Paoletti will throw it. No. Handoff. Dutkowitz. Blaine Netterman hits him, and then Anthony Tedisco slides across the top of his body. Pick up about 4 for Dutkowitz. 3rd and 9 coming up. He's a sophomore. He'll be around for a while. Looks pretty good. Definitely a change of pace back. Dutkowitz going to check out. Paoletti says, we'll see if they throw it or not. They're going to line Sean Thompson, the tailback, up. They're going to go 5 wide receivers. Wind has died down a little bit here, so maybe Paoletti will get a chance to try and throw this. Nope, he's going to fumble it. And picked up by Anthony Nobile. 2nd turnover, or 3rd fumble of the half. Nobile having himself a game again. Last week he played in his brother's number 7 and had 3.5 sacks. And the Aggies take over at the 17, 27-0, and I don't think we'll see the first team offense again here today. Or the defense, for that matter. All kinds of new guys out there. Casey Decker out there at quarterback. Julian White is the tailback. 39, that's one of the Speed brothers. Got Zach Harding on the line. Wide receivers, Jalen Gaither is number 18. Handoff goes to White. White, 15, 10. Oh, 5. He is really tough to tackle. He's just a big dude. It's a freshman, Shane Newell, out there on the line. Justin Roman, Dan Crow, Matt Kristoff. So it's second team. Guys all over the place here for Del Val. Along with Decker, who was the starter last week at quarterback. Tavian Dorsey still out there at wide receiver. The Aggies use so many guys on wide receiver, it's hard to distinguish first from second or even third team at this point. Gaither to the one side, Dorsey to the other. Highland is the tailback. First and goal from the 8 or so. Decker loses the ball. Ouch. Oh, ow. That looked like that hurt. Terrence Thompson with the tackle for loss. Second and goal from the 9. And a man down again, this time for Widener. He's able to get up on his own. Mike Pulowski, who's played well, comes off a little slowly. Aggies now, in the weather has helped out a lot here, although against their defense, it's not like it looks much different when you're playing in 80-degree weather against them. That's the 31st turnover this year in 10 games. Second and goal from the 9. Decker with Highland in behind him. Going to send the man, Jalen Gaither, in motion. Play clock down to 2. Decker gets it off. Highland cuts back against the defense and gets nothing. No gain. Credit to Widener defense, who's particularly those front 7. They've been on the field for basically the entire game. And they continue to just try and make tackles and hold things up and make the Aggies earn every yard. Widener's defense, like a lot of teams, they're going to graduate a bunch. Kearns, Cotis, Werkheiser, Konzelman, these guys are all seniors or grad students. Cheek, Libera, Tasholi. They're actually going to graduate more off their defense than Del Val is. Third and goal from the 9. Decker to Highland. To the 7. Kevin Davis apparently feeling okay. He this time has a much more pleasant encounter with Ralph Highland. Fourth and goal. Come on, try the field goal. Why not? No, they're going to go for it. Julian White checks in. White's numbers on the season, 38 carries for about 350 yards. He's got a ridiculous average. And in addition to however many playoff games the Aggies get, we'll see a whole lot more of him next year. Fourth and goal. Decker with White to his left. Will he throw it? Yes, he will. Will it be caught? No, it won't. Knocked away. Dorsey, the intended target. Widener takes over at their own 9 or so. Keith Cheek knocks it away. Aggies with their second team defense out there. Cole Kitchen. 51, is it Michael Stout, who had an interception last week. Handoff, Thompson. Gets about 11 yards. Good first play there for the Pride against the Aggies reserves. Maud Moore out there at cornerback. I think he could be the starter next year when Harris graduates. They want to use Damian Smith in that position. Yeah, number 51 is Michael Stout. He had the interception last week against Wilkes. Aggies jump, but ball not snapped. Handoff, and another fumble, and the Aggies have it again. Recovered by 91. That would be Abdul Baki Salam, the senior defensive lineman from the Bronx. Tyler Fulmore forced it, 45. And the Aggies take over at the 21 of Widener. Aggies are going to, I know we've got 4:10 to play, so maybe I should hold off on saying this, but they're going to be way under their season average for penalty yards today. And off to Julian White. And White forward to about the 16. It's a 5-yard pickup for Julian. Terrence Thompson making the tackle. Okie doke. Second and 5 for the Aggies. 3:30 and counting. Looks like the skies to the left are a little more pleasant. Wind's starting to tame a little bit. Decker hands it off. White to the outside. Whoops. Shouldn't have done that. Should have kept going. Loses most of what he got on the last play. It'll be 3rd and 9. We've seen 25 pass attempts in this entire game. Oh, 26. I forgot Gillespie had an attempt in the first half. Quarterback for Widener, 2 for 6. Quarterback for Del Val, 10 for 19. 3rd and 8 coming up. See if Decker throws the ball here. White to his left. Dorsey and Gaither still out there at wide receiver. Dorsey in motion. They hand it off to Tavion. And Tavion goes the wrong way. I don't know where he's going with that. Yeah, he took this handoff and ran backwards 5 yards without really even trying to turn the corner. Ran himself right out of bounds. All right, well. 4th and 15. Nobody is going to mistake this half of football for an offensive showcase. 4 turnovers for Widener, and War Valley's had a lot of negative plays. Zach Harding lines up to the left. 4th and very long for the Aggies. Hand off to Julian, and he gets nothing. Kevin Davis right there to hit him. And Aggies is now 2 for 7 on 4th down. It's going to hurt the average. 14 for 33 on the season on 3rd downs. Pride come back out onto the field with 84 seconds left. Aggies have held them to 76 yards. 62 on the ground with 4 fumbles. And 14 through the air. And they're going to take a knee. And that gives you a sense for how this game has gone, both weather-wise and otherwise. It's very rare to see a team kneel it out down 27-0 with over a minute to play. Congratulations to the Aggies, 10-0. First time in a while. Nobody in any great hurry here. 7 on the play clock. One more knee. That will do it. Aggies celebrate a victory and another Keystone Cup win. They'll get to celebrate with the banner now. I don't think they had it in Wilkes-Barre last week. Do I dare try the window? Well, congratulations to Delaware Valley. Last year, the season canceled due to COVID. They were bringing back a very experienced team with very, very high aspirations. This is a team that believes it can compete for and win a national championship in football. And the last time they played a season out, they played the team that eventually won the national championship very close. This season, first goal, win the MAC, go undefeated, and get yourself into the playoffs. And you can check all those boxes off. Delaware Valley with a victory. Cameras on the field. I think those cameras are probably partially to collect footage for the NCAA's selection show and whatever other graphics the NCAA has got cooked up for the playoffs. For the Pride, this is a tough end of the season, but they were 7-3 and had a good year. They are going to miss, well, we'll see. I don't know if they'll miss the MAC Centennial playoffs or not, but Coach Baranak has them going in the right direction. Just too much defense and too much rain here. And too much Tamir Barksdale. It seems like a month ago, but he had a 55-yard reception for a touchdown and an 84-yard punt for a touchdown. And the Aggies will celebrate with the banner as the commissioner comes out. The weather cooperating a little bit. Scoreboard showing 10-0, 2021. Congratulations to Del Val. 13th conference championship. And another trip to the NCAA playoffs. Defense so dominant this year. Offense has found its identity. The Aggies have been to the national quarterfinals 4 times. They have never been a national semifinalist. They'll try and break through this year. See who they get next week into the playoffs. Well, that will do it for us. We'll wrap things up here on our broadcast this afternoon. Thanks to Shad Gillespie, our cameraman, and Tony, our producer. Thank you to Chris Elliott and the folks at Widener for their information in preparation for today's game. Thank you to Duke Greco and Athletic Director Dave Duda for their support. And thanks to you for tuning in wherever you were, staying warm, and staying champs. Your 2021 conference champs, undefeated and headed to the NCAA playoffs, Delaware Valley University. Tomorrow night, the selections will be announced again, generally around 6 or 7 o'clock. D3football.com usually has those. And then next week, somewhere, it will be 12 o'clock kickoff somewhere, whether it's here or whether it's on the road. It will be the NCAA playoffs. Until then, stay warm, stay dry. Congratulations to the Aggies.